Good morning, this is Dr. K. I'd like to talk to you this morning about the research project. This is one of two major projects for this course. In this video, I'd like to clarify the goals, introduce the deliverables, and summarize the expectations. We have a research project in this course because graduate programs all over the world require a certain level of research and writing ability. You need to be able to use library resources rather than the internet to locate, read, analyze, and evaluate relevant research articles, those that are written in academic journals, those that show the newest and deepest thinking on a topic. We'd like to practice organizing and synthesizing that research material so that if you have 10 sources, you're not reporting on one source at a time. Rather, you are telling us what the major themes are, what those authors agree on, what they disagree on, and what the trends are. You will share your findings in a research report, actually called a literature review, and then you'll be throughout practicing APA citation style for correctly giving credit to the authors that you're reading and giving us a list of references so that we can find those in the future. For the deliverables, I'm going to move over to the instruction sheet for the research project. You can find this document in the content section of Week 2. This part of the document provides a list of all of the deliverables. In Week 2, you'll be selecting your topic. It will be a discussion. You will find one source, and you will put up your initial post by Wednesday and respond to your peers by Sunday. During Week 3, you will take the one source that you already had, find an additional 3 sources, for a total of 4 sources, and write an annotated bibliography that you will turn in as an assignment. During Week 3, there are also several exercises or workshops to help you figure out what you're missing in terms of APA writing coming into this course and give you ways to more effectively write in APA style. This is what an annotated bibliography entry looks like. You will be writing 4 of these. At the top, you'll have the reference page listing for that particular source, and then you'll go on to give us information about the authors, their credibility, the article itself, the way that the data was gathered for the article, and information about why this article is important to the topic that you are writing about. There's a worksheet for the source analysis table that helps you pull together all of the information about each source. And you'll be pulling it together in a table like this, and then simply taking that information and writing it into a nice bibliography entry. Here's an example of a research question and a research report. For example, I asked, what are the trends in project management education? I collected information from, in this case, because it's Week 5, from 10 different authors who helped to answer that question. And I analyzed and evaluated each one of those authors in my source table. During Week 5, I also developed a concept map. My 10 authors are listed on the left column. Across the right-hand column, I have the concepts that these authors seem to think were important, some themes that came up every time I read an article. They all seem to want to talk about why project management education is important. So for each author, I went through and I said that Alum et al. On page 233 talked about it. Ashley did not address that particular thing. Carbone and Golston did address it on page 10. And so that's the way that we organize our thinking so that we can go ahead and write a coherent literature review. The other thing that we do in week 5 is for each one of the 4 or so major themes or major concepts that authors talk about, we write a topic sentence for that section and then write some additional sentences showing what some of the other authors thought about that. For example, for the theme that project management is very important, I wrote a topic sentence that says training and education for project managers has become increasingly important as the use of project management increases globally. The authors who talked about that in their articles were Alum in 2008, Cordoba and Peakey in 2012, Crawford, and Thomas and Mengel. And so that's an example of looking at what authors agree on and writing a topic sentence that shows how they agree. The next step is taking those individual authors, and for each individual author that was cited here, either use direct quotations from particular pages or synthesize and paraphrase the work of several authors to talk about what they say about this theme that's so important. Finally, in week 6, you'll actually write the paper. You'll write the literature review. And here's an outline for your literature review. You'll start out with a short summary, and then you'll talk about something that you started in week 2, what your research question is, and why and who are affected by that, why that's an important topic to project management. Next, you'll report on the literature. Remember those themes we talked about in week 5 and those sentences we wrote? You'll talk about each one of those 4 themes and then briefly summarize them. And finally, you'll move on to a conclusion, a reference page, and in your appendix, you'll have your concept map and your source table, source analysis and evaluation table. What many people find is because they wrote in week 5 those sentences for each one of the themes, their paper is almost written at the end of week 5. During the entire semester, you'll be aggregating your information into a portfolio document. And this portfolio will contain your revised annotated bibliographies from week 3, an executive summary, your revised literature review from week 6, including both of all 4 themes. You'll have a reference listing for all of the references that you used, and you'll have appendixes that include your source analysis table, your concept map, your revision plan, which you'll work on in week 7, and self-reflection, which also comes from week 7. Wow, that sounds like a huge amount of work. Actually, if you keep at it, it's not so bad. Here are some tips to make it easier for you. Here are some things that will cause you a lot of wasted time and energy. So don't do this. Don't do a Google search on your topic. Google does not bring up the kind of sources that you're looking for. Don't read what the commercial sites have to say about your topic, because they've already digested it and put their particular bias into it. And you don't want that. You want actual research that will that is based on studies that have been done. Don't use any of the commercial sites' information in your paper. Don't reuse an old paper. It's very hard to know what you copied from someplace and what you paraphrased and how well you paraphrased. And what happens to people is they end up using things that are actually plagiarism. And then I have to give them a 0 on the paper. So don't do that. Also, don't waste a lot of time looking for the perfect topic. It isn't about the topic this time. It's about learning how to do the research, how to put it all together, and how to write about it effectively. And it doesn't matter what topic you choose. One is as good as another. Pick something that you find fairly interesting to read about and go forward with it. Also, don't plan to prove something about project management. You aren't doing primary research, so you can't prove anything. So cut yourself some slack. Now here's some tips on things that you can do. Do use the Writing Center. Do use the library. These are great resources, and they are developed specifically for this kind of homework. Plan to learn something new. Plan to research in a way and write in a way that you've never done before. Ask for help. Your professor is waiting by her laptop for you to come in and ask for some questions. And your classmates also are supposed to be giving you feedback. So help each other and ask for help from me. And finally, keep calm, keep up with the weekly assignments, and continue to write. During week 2, you'll actually be selecting a topic for your research project. In the overview of the research project, many examples are given of research topics that worked well for some of your peers in previous classes. One of the easier ways to figure out a topic is just to pick a question stem and put it with a project management topic. For example, what are the challenges in careers as project managers? How do project managers do status reporting? What are the best practices for managing conflict? Those are very easy ways to get research projects figured out, to find something that will come up that's been well researched, and so you'll be able to find sources easily, and the research question is appropriate for the size of paper that you're looking at. So that's it for the overview of the research project. I hope that this has been helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing your work.